Merry Christmas! Greetings, everybody. You know, here we are celebrating the birth of Jesus. The birth of Jesus. That's what Christmas is all about. And having the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about different things about the Christmas story. I want to bring something else out. This is actually happening just after the birth of Jesus, but it's just as important. You know, it's important that we dig into the truth and find out the real facts, the real truth of what happened. Not just take our traditions. Last week I talked about the wise men and how that wasn't quite correct in our traditions. Well, here's another one. In Luke chapter 2, if you go down to verse 25, I'm going to talk about from 25 to 35, there's a story of a man named Simeon. Now, Simeon was an intercessor, and it says that, let me just put my glasses on so I can read it here. He was just and devout, and he was waiting for the consolation of Israel. That's Jesus. It also said that it had been revealed to him that he would not die until he saw the Lord's Christ, which is the Lord's Messiah. Christ meaning anointed one and his anointing. Christ is not Jesus' last name. Christ means the anointed one and the anointing. In Hebrew, they talked about the Messiah. In Greek, it's Christ. It's the same thing. It's the Messiah. So he would not die until he saw the Messiah. So here's Simeon. They've gone into the temple. Now Mary and Joseph have gone in to have Jesus circumcised and offer all the proper sacrifices and all of that. And Simeon points out that this is the Christ. That Jesus is the Christ. Which confirmed in Mary's heart. But to everyone else, they're going, whoa, this is the Messiah? Whoa. Now later on in verse 36, it talks about Anna, who was a prophetess, who had been in the temple praying unceasingly for decades. She had been praying for decades. Now I want to point out to you that nothing happens on this earth without prayer. God reveals it to his prophets, and it's up to us to grab hold of that, pray it out. Simeon and Anna were praying out the birth of Jesus. Now, if the birth of Jesus had to be prayed out by people, and Jesus said, where two or more are gathered in agreement, it shall be done. If it had to be prayed out, how much more other things in our lives have to be prayed out? See, that's how important prayer is. I used to think, what's the big deal praying? God's a big God. God's a sovereign God. He can do it all. Yes, he can, but he's bound himself to his word. He's limited himself, and if he can't find someone to pray it into the earth, it won't happen, folks. If you've had a prophetic word spoken over you, if you're not praying into it, it's not going to happen. You know, it says in Ephesians, praying without ceasing. Praying without ceasing. In Romans, it talks about pray for the government authorities. As we come into this Christmas season, and I realize I'm getting the nod from my camera crew here, but I'm going to just take another few seconds if I could. As we come to this Christmas season, we get together with all the relatives. I encourage you to get together with your family. Pray for your unsaved ones first. Pray for the opportunities, and let the Spirit of God open things up. And don't be afraid to share Jesus with your family this year. It may be the only time they get to hear about him. Have a great Christmas. We love you. We'll see you next week.